I told you guys get the back problems.
Okay. There we go.
He's not even 21.
Hey.
All right. I'm starting the stream now.
Okay.
Microphones are on.
Microphones are live.
I'm ready.
Microphones are
Have they been
live.
hot for a while now?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Were they live
So-
when I licked your head?
I mean, I don't think they got video of it.
They could have.
Because I can do it again if it needs to happen.
I think so. So okay, so we should be live, which means let's see if the actual audio can be heard. Yeah.
Is it on the
Somebody
actual
test it.
Crack Brain YouTube?
No, it's
Or
on.
I need a Patreon?
Test.
Nothing's on Patreon. Everything's. Yeah, as people that didn't listen to the updates, nothing's going to Patreon.
Remind me.
To be fair, that update came the day after we recorded.
Okay.
So it was Tyler's job to edit that out, and he didn't.
Well,
Hey, Brandon.
there's that. So yeah. Okay. All right. We're now we're
Are we good?
yes we have things. So okay.
Okay.
We can't see Stephan, but how much do you want me to
Yeah.
see?
Get closer. Pretend like you love me.
Tyler, like his head, hurry!
I was this close to licking his neck.
Just get a longer tongue.
you really
That's not
were.
even a head. That's just a neck.
Alright,
That's
yeah.
far more intimate.
Okay, we're set. Audio good.
All right. So we are moving on. Tyler, give us our intro.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome to the Kawaii Cast.
Yeah, we are here with Stephan because it's our live stream for Patreon.
Whoa.
It's
For
just
YouTube.
our live stream.
Just our
Just our
YouTube.
live stream.
It's not
We
for
just
Patreon
got
anymore.
done talking about this. So yes.
I'm excited because this is my favorite anime. Is this your favorite anime?
Yes.
I'm in a
It
phase-
is my favorite anime.
My favorite anime.
It's Homestuck!
I'm,
And Carly already ruined it.
Right outside.
Homestuck is my
I am in a
anime.
favorite anime sandwich.
You are. Let's make the favorite anime sandwich.
Oh my.
But
There we go. So yes. So one quick thing before we go and start, really go and start this episode is that we still do have our giveaway going on right now. We've got, wow, we actually do have some of the prizes out over there.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to be able to see some of those different things, go over to the Cracked Brain website. So that is www.thecrackedbrain.com. You can see kind of what we're raffling off, as well as if you want to get in on the giveaway, you just have to sign up through there. So yes. $1 gets you 1 entry, $5 gets you 2 entries, $10 gets you 3 entries. And we will be doing that announcement at the end of the next segment thing that we do.
Yeah.
So
I've actually been looking forward to this. I binge watched all of Yu Hakusho all over again in less than 2 weeks. I was so excited.
I got 3 hours of sleep last night
He did. He was binge watching
because I was binge watching it
he's almost
until
finished with the
2:30
semifinals
in the
of Dark
morning, and then I woke up at 5:30 and started right back up again.
Yeah, he's in the semifinals of the Dark Tournament right now. This is actually, you have no idea how hyped I was for this episode. This anime is the reason why I am the way I am. To answer your question from a couple weeks ago, Kaden, that is why I am the way I am, is because of this anime.
And
I'm even wearing my Yu Yu Hakusho shirt.
what was
What?
Caden's question?
What was my question?
You asked me why am I the way I am.
When?
A couple weeks ago, apparently.
Kid's like, I don't remember this morning. All right.
See, the best thing about her shirt too is it doesn't have either of their favorite
Yeah,
boys on
it does not have either of our favorite boys on it.
It doesn't, which makes me all the more mad because I'm not getting
Okay,
into
to
it.
be fair-
I'm not getting into
To be fair, this Hot Topic actually does have a shirt with these two in the same pose, and it did add Kurama and Kuwabara to it, but it's only available in an extra small, so
Yeah, and because someone makes them herself, you can't get that. So yeah.
So, and they do have a Yusuke one that's available in my size, but I already have a Yusuke shirt. I've had this since high school. I've had this shirt forever, so.
My pants are from high school.
Well,
That's
it's
about
because
it.
this was used to be huge on me in high school. Like, that makes me actually feel bad.
She's
Like, this was a dress on me in high school.
There we go. There you go.
So,
But I'm pretty sure we did not actually come on here to go and talk about the shirts that were
No.
dresses on us. So
no.
No.
I'm going
yes.
to talk about why we love Yu Yu Hakusho.
Right. Okay. So everyone's like, how was your first experience with getting Yu Yu Hakusho? Was it pretty much the same for everybody?
It was the daytime Toonami stream.
Yep. That was the
Yeah.
same for everybody. I'm finding out that everyone's gateway to Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, Rurouni Kenshin, and Dragon Ball Z were pretty much all this. Well, no, mine was different for Dragon Ball Z.
Because you had a mommy.
You guys are
like-
young.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When I got into this stuff, you had to get the bootlegs out of China.
I got the bootlegs out of China. For Dragon Ball Z, I got there was a green tape, a yellow tape, and a red tape that you had to go and get, and just to make sure that you actually had them the right way, like the English dubs, the black, like the little flip cover for the actual reel, that part was black. If it was any other color, that was only the raw file. So yeah.
Well, okay, so we actually don't have a lot of time to talk about this, and I don't think an hour is long enough for me to talk about Yu Yu Hakusho. So we gotta get into this.
On track.
Yes, because I mentioned I'm like, an hour's not long enough. It's not. Like, I can barely cover like the first saga, which is like the shortest saga, in an hour.
Then go.
Then go. Okay.
So intro into the main character,
Yeah.
Yusuke Urameshi.
Okay, so straight up, if you guys are not already into Yu Yu Hakusho, I don't know what to tell you. Because you should have just already been. It should have been like your rite of passage into anime if you were our age. Like,
So I have a question.
I have an answer.
Is Yu Yu Hakusho an isekai? Because you think about it,
The last arc is.
because you think about it, he gets hit by a car, he dies, and goes to the spirit world.
Don't ruin this for me.
Okay, so there are 4 major arcs to Yu Yu Hakusho, and to put it bluntly, it's kind of a sandwich because you have the first arc and the last arc are just kind of your standard bread, but the Dark Tournament and Chapter Black are really what's good. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
well, basically, it's like, it culminates to honestly, the best part really is the Dark Tournament. In my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. Like, it actually is kind of 50-50 with most of the fans. Like, half the fans say Dark Tournament, the other half say Chapter Black, and you're not wrong either way, to be honest. Chapter Black's my favorite arc, but I really like how they did the whole thing like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, and I was way more into horror and stuff like that when I was in high school than I was into fighting, and I imagine that fighting was more your thing.
Yes, the fighting was my thing, it being more of the horror movie-esque, which someone that doesn't like scary things, whatever, it was like, why'd you ruin my good fighting anime and whatnot? Because it's like, you think about at the exact same time, I also had Rurouni Kenshin and having Dragon Ball Z, so it was like, it was nothing but like, fighting all day long, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is really gets the testosterone pumping.
Well,
You're not. Look, 9-year-old me could barely handle it. All right. It was he was experiencing a lot of things for the first time.
Yeah, and see, as somebody who wasn't super into fighting, I love the Dark Tournament. Like, I think the Dark Tournament was what got me to do karate, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get into martial arts because of Yu Yu Hakusho. But really, like, Chapter Black was what sold it, and I think for me it was such a unique writing experience for Chapter Black. Because if Yu Yu Hakusho had ended at the end of the Dark Tournament, it would have been a great anime.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been fine on its own if it just ended right there, because all the characters had completed their character arcs by the end of the Dark Tournament. Which was fine and good and great, but Chapter Black did something unique where instead of just being like, well, they're all developed, so we're just going to keep them going until, like, we just get bored of them, the Chapter Black series broke down their character arcs and reversed them.
Yeah.
All the progress they made in the Dark Tournament was stripped away from them in Chapter Black.
Right. Well, I think that's basically because Shonen at that point finally understood how to develop characters as well. It's like when you think about Samurai X or Rurouni Kenshin, where it's like you've got a great story, but it's almost like most of the character development stopped partway through. It's like you didn't get all that much of a backstory with most of them. Dragon Ball Z, there's very little character development. It's just people get stronger through getting hit.
Yeah.
Okay, and I absolutely love it. Okay.
Who
And that
needs
was
character development when you can punch things?
And
Well, that-
scream!
And that was the problem with Bleach, too, is that Bleach hit that point where they had their full character development, and then it just plateaued for the rest of the show until they got bored with it. And Yu Yu Hakusho never did that.
Well, and you think about like, okay, well, that did happen, but then the manga part of Bleach actually kept on going and stayed interesting and relevant, whereas the anime side of it was just like, we're done, we're done.
Yeah, basically.
You know, and I think it was mainly just because it was sucking money out, and it wasn't as profitable as they really wanted it to be. The first 2 seasons were actually making money, and then after that, it just started going down.
Yeah. And then the reason why I would put the final arc in with the first arc as far as like writing goes is because by this point, a lot of people don't know this, but the creator, the mangaka, was actually constantly in and out of the hospital near the end of the Chapter Black arc. And at that point, he wasn't really confident that he was going to be able to write the story he wanted. He had all of these plans for like the last arc to be the longest arc, and to be the most developed arc for all the characters. Even Kuwabara, who was cut out of the last arc, he was supposed to have this huge arc in that final season.
Sounds like someone's
Sorry,
not happy.
did not mean to open that wound, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, just how much was actually cut from his original draft. Because his fear was that he was actually going to die in the hospital, and his series was never going to be finished. So for him, rushing through that arc and getting all the character stuff just on the table was more important to him than the quality that he had been producing up to that point. And it's really sad because I feel like the character Yomi was the one who suffered the most from it, because he really was supposed to have a similar, feel as Toguro, where he was personally involved with one of the characters in his past, and then he was supposed to be like Yusuke's big rival because of that, but instead it was just like, oh, Kurama and I used to know each other, and now I'm gonna fight Yusuke.
Yeah.
And they stretched him in 3 different directions, and they also created the worst character in his son. I hate Shura. I literally hate Shura. I met Aaron Desmiuk in person, and I wanted to tell him I hate Shura.
You can't do that to someone like, I love you, I hate who you voice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tantamount of basically Game of Thrones level hate.
I feel like he would have agreed with me, though.
Yeah.
Because Shura was a brat.
And that's the reason why you hate children.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, like, Shura was such a brat. I'm not even sure why he was there.
Carly, she's doing the thing and it hurts.
Wait, what thing?
You know, the thing.
The brain hurty thingy?
Yeah, that thing.
Just call her a bitch.
Try not to do it publicly. I reserve that hate for very special moments, like someone
Right
implying that my character might be a little trash.
I've never implied that Kuwabara is trash. It's just out of the main 4, he's definitely my least favorite. But
he's not trash. He's just really stupid.
Not wrong. That's his charm.
I think that was part of the reason I was upset about the last arc too, is because even in the manga, they really developed more the idea that during the time Kurama was coming back and forth between the demon and the human world, he was the reason why Kuwabara was so diligent in his studying. Every time he was in the human world, he's just like, all right, now we're going to get you on the books. You are going to be studying like crazy the entire time I'm here. Got to go back and train some demons. I'll be back in a month. We're going to make sure you're getting into this high school.
Don't look away from those books.
Yeah.
And what usually would always happen, he would never look over at the books and basically start bullying people again.
Well, he actually developed a lot in that arc, and it was all just cut out. Even the whole idea that Kuwabara went to Kurama's mom's wedding as moral support, the two of them were best friends in the last arc. None of it was shown in the anime.
Yep. Nope.
And it's so upsetting to me. And I'm like, there was so much. And it was all cut out. Even like the whole like scandal in Spirit World was completely cut out of the anime. Turns out Koenma becomes the new ruler of Spirit World because his father was actually involved in crimes when it came to brainwashing demons and attacking humans. And he was actually kicked out of Spirit World, and Koenma became the new leader.
Damn.
Why was this...
Right?
So much left out.
There was so much left out.
Instead, you just basically get to look at pretty boys.
Yeah, like, the final arc, even in the manga, was cut super short. And again, because he was going through a lot of medical stuff. And the first arc suffers from the fact that it had an identity crisis. Like, he wasn't really sure what he was wanting to write.
Well, and you can see that very apparently, where it's like, okay, first season, it's like what you're trying to understand the story, but it's not going anywhere, and nothing's actually happening.
Yeah.
So it's just that's usually the one where everyone sits there and goes like, well, I mean, I kind of skipped it, and well, then there's there's the competition piece, and it's like, well, okay, yeah, sure, dark tournament, yes, we get, but yeah, it's like everyone blanks out on the very first arc.
And it's not even that it was bad. It's just that, like I said, it really felt like it was suffering from an identity crisis. He wanted to create like a supernatural series, and he wasn't really even going for a fighting series at first. In fact, in the manga, the Ghost saga, where Yusuke was going around helping people as a ghost, was actually a lot longer. And I think it was a smart idea for the anime to cut that down to I think it was only 5 episodes, which made it a little bit forgettable, but was also really smart because those chapters of the manga are awful.
Never read the manga.
It's awful. But it is kind of fun because there are moments in the manga that do reference other series that he was super into, especially Sailor Moon, because him and his wife was the creator of Sailor Moon.
That's right!
Yeah.
Okay.
One of those weird things you don't think about.
And it's something, okay, now does that explain a little bit of some of the art direction?
Yes.
Because you sit there and you look at everyone's ungodly high waist.
Yes.
Okay, ridiculously long legs to the point where it's like you look at Yusuke, it's nothing but legs.
Yeah.
He is nothing but legs. Now this makes so much more sense. Oh, dear God.
There's even one point in the manga where Kurama just throws his rose and he's just like, you could just call me Tuxedo Mask. And it's so cheesy, but it's so great.
Now I want to see fan art of the Yu Hakusho characters dressed up as Sailor Scouts.
In the last arc,
someone
you
get on
even
that.
see Koenma dressed as Tuxedo Mask. Which is great.
God, who would Kuwabara be? Pluto.
Uranus.
Don't do that to
He
me.
went there.
Don't do that to me.
She went there.
Don't do that to me. That's me. It's evil-hearted right there. Demon.
I got my whole squad.
She does.
Again, that's not fair.
She used to have more.
I used to have more.
What is used to have more?
Well, I used to have that little Carlos Jr. Kurama toy that you just push the button and he just spun around. He broke.
She spun him around too much.
No, he broke when I was moving. It made me really sad.
Sure.
Judgment. The judgment is real. The judgment is real.
Don't judge me.
I'm judging.
Okay, now we need to go and do this. Some of your favorite moments.
Oh, okay. So my favorite moments are always the banters.
See?
The banters are the best part. I think my favorite banter in the entire series is during the Dark Tournament when they're playing cards and all the girls come in and they're just like, oh, you guys should play cards with us, and they're just like, yeah, and they all draw hands, and Kuwabara's like, oh, I'm ready to play Go Fish, it's gonna be amazing, and then Kurama just turns to Hiei and he's just like, come join us, Hiei, we're practically a family over here. And he's like, don't make me tear out your precious voice box.
Why'd you have to pick that moment? That's what sticks out in my head so much. You know how long I was running around going I like Go Fish. I like Go Fish too! I identify so hard with Kuwabara.
So I'm gonna have to pick on you a little bit more here.
No.
So far, from what I've been watching, I actually haven't finished the series. So I've gone through the Dark Tournament, and then it's been so long, I never finished. But so far, favorite moment would be when Hiei is fighting the one dude that gets the immunities to the attacks. and so he's like, I don't like doing this attack. It lacks any style.
And artistry.
He basically does Kuwabara's spirit blade.
And Kuwabara's like, are you saying that my spirit sword lacks tact and artistry?
Just bluntly says yes.
I will say,
Exactly.
though, my favorite my second favorite moment, almost as good as the first one, is just bah. I will never get over that episode. And it follows into the next best part where Yusuke's like, Kurama and Hiei are too smart to fall for your tricks. And he's like, yes, or say the word hot. You gotta admit, my sarcasm definitely came from Kurama.
It's so there.
Kurama's the reason I'm a sarcastic bitch, let's be honest.
This explains so much. Oh my god.
What's your favorite moment, Stephan?
You took it! I told you! Running around like 4th grade, going like, I like Go Fish too! Like, legitimately.
I'm dying.
Okay, what's your second favorite moment?
I don't know! That's the main one that I remember. It's like so stuck in my brain that as you're sitting there, like, you were recounting the scene, and I'm going like, yeah, it's a bit like mine.
Wait a second.
It's a bit like
that's exactly like
that
mine.
is mine.
It's a good scene.
Thank you.
It's so well written. All
It
right.
really plays off of just like how their dynamic is though. Like, this is a group that would literally like take a sword for each other, but they're such assholes to each other.
Well, and the fact that like Hiei, who is always basically bothered by everyone there, is still there. He's like, well, I don't want to not be here. You know, so it's like you still see the family aspect to it, yet they're all basically they are the perfect representation of brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, it's something where it's like they're all there. Someone wants to go and include all of them. Another one wants to be depressive and off over to the side, and then there's the pretty boy. So.
There's also the scene like just shortly before it, where Kuwabara's like, oh, you guys should get Yukina to heal you. She's so great and beautiful. She's looking for her long-lost brother. I'm going to help her as soon as this tournament's over. And Kurama's like, yes, her long-lost brother. Hiei, we should help. And Yusuke's like, yeah, I bet you could lend an eye. And Kuwabara's just like, what are you guys laughing
I don't
at?
get it, yeah. It's, do you see why I love Kuwabara?
Honestly, Kuwabara is such a lovable character.
See?
I can't give him shit.
Sad. I can't hate him. I do love Kuwabara.
You keep on saying it wrong.
I just also love making fun of him.
Okay, speaking of saying it wrong.
Speaking of saying it wrong,
The movie.
she made me watch the movie last night.
Okay.
So the movie is not dubbed by Funimation.
No, it's not. It's dubbed by a company called US Manga Corp.
So throughout the entire movie, they're calling him Kuwahara.
The best part is when Kuwabara goes to fight, and he's like, I, Kazuma Kuwahara, will defeat you.
It's so cheesy.
I would rage quit the entire movie.
No,
After a while, like, I'm done. I'm
it's
done.
it's in the class of so bad it's good.
It really is
Like,
like Batman and Robin
watch-
of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Watch it with a friend, especially if you want to take a few drinks.
I'm going to take drinks.
It's good.
Here's my impression of the Yu Yu Hakusho movie. We really need to get going. Let's go. End scene. I'm not even joking. That's what the movie is like. It's not too bad in Japanese, but the English is definitely worth watching.
This hurts. This hurts.
Tyler mentioned it feels like a fanfic, and the one character is a self-insert.
Does. It feels like a fanfic watching it. And they have like a shrine maiden girl who is the total self-insert character.
This makes me feel good that I have not watched it.
I also want to take a shot every time during the Hiei battle, they say the word evil. Look, his evil eyes.
He's drawing out his evil with his evil power.
His evil powers are going to draw out Hiei's evil intentions. What are you trying to say? I'm saying Hiei's about to become evil.
This quite literally feels like they basically got the movie, didn't get any of script, like no translation whatsoever. We're basically like, guess what they're saying just from trying to watch like the raw footage of the movie. Go.
The other drinking game for that movie is every time Kurama says the word Corona way, because he says it so much.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It introduces one of his old friends from back when he was a Fox demon, and his name is Corona way. And that's who he's fighting throughout the movie. And he says the word Corona way so many fucking times. I'm like, we get it. You're gay for Corona way. Stop.
Okay, is it Inuyasha Kagome levels?
Yes!
Yes.
Oh, dear God.
He's like bleeding out of his stomach and he's like, Corona way. Also, there's a nude Kurama scene in it.
What? Are we talking butt, or are we talking? What are we talking about?
Full frontal, but it's shaded out.
Say what?
Yeah. It's the only shirtless scene he gets in the entire franchise. Prove me wrong.
You're not.
Well, Yoko gets a shirtless scene.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was about to
that's
say
example.
no. Wait. I could have sworn there actually is not like an onsen thing, but I could swore I've seen Kurama with his shirt off and just a white towel.
No.
I swear to God.
Yeah, but he wears the white towel all the way up over his nipples.
No,
So it doesn't count.
I promise you, there is no shirtless scene of Kurama in his human form.
I will take your word for it. Yep, I will take your word for it.
You might be thinking of a different anime that had a similar character, though, because there was a lot during that time period.
Not wrong. It could have easily been something from like Saint Seiya.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Saint Seiya was pretty similar. But honestly, like, I get a lot of people say, like, you only like Kurama because he's hot, but honestly, I was a red-haired nerd who was suffering from depression in high school. Of course I clung to Kurama.
What does this explain to me about Kuwabara, his orange-haired pompadour self?
That you like to pick fights and lose.
That you're an idiot?
Oh my, either of you right now. You're both correct.
You liked Go Fish.
I like Go Fish. God damn it. I like what I like. Quit judging me.
I'm not judging you, I'm explaining. Here's the thing, like, there's very few characters in Yu Yu Hakusho I hate unless you're supposed to hate them. The only Yu Yu Hakusho character I hate is Shura. Straight up.
I'm blanking out on Shura.
He's Yomi's kid. The obnoxious one's like, don't go easy on me, Dad.
Okay, yeah.
If you go easy on me, I'll never forgive you. And then he's like, I could murder you. Do you want to die? And he's like, yeah, I'd rather die than you go easy on me. He's like, shut up, kid. You're not dying. You're grounded. That was the whole fight.
Go to your room.
Very climactic. There you
That-
go.
I didn't understand Shura's role because they brought him in just so he could get his ass kicked. And then they're just trying to explain, like, oh, this is what Yomi was like when he was younger and used to partner with Kurama. And I'm like, damn, okay, I forgive Kurama now because if I hung out with that, I'd call a hitman too. You know?
You're not wrong.
That was the whole thing, was that Kurama was a bad person because he called a hitman on his friend. Because how do you end friendships? But I'm like, if he's that obnoxious, he deserved to die. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He is a demon. he deserves it. Yep.
Are you saying all demons deserve to die?
I mean, what?
Prove me wrong.
If you're in a bad
My
relationship,
boy Hiei.
he's so bad.
Prove
Okay,
me wrong.
if Hiei was your favorite character in high school, you were an edgelord.
Excuse you, Hiei is my favorite character because I'm an edgelord. And because he appeals to my Chunibyo side.
You shock
Dark
jock,
Flame
you piece
Master.
of trash.
Can we also acknowledge the fact that Hiei's just like, my full power causes me to open up eyes all over my body, and then he never uses it.
He never uses it once.
He used it in the movie.
In the movie! That's not helping the argument. And that was when he was becoming evil.
You can't turn evil what is already evil.
That was the solution, too. They were just like, Hiei can't be consumed by evil. He's already evil.
Can I interject something? Because this is
Yes.
hurting me.
Oh yeah.
This is hurting me.
Go
The
for
fact
it.
that you said by a company called U.S. Manga Corps. No, the company called US Manga Corps. I'm sorry. The U.S. Manga Corps was one of the original distributors of anime back when there was like no budget and very little following.
He's just been back here like stewing in it for like 20 minutes.
They brought like Project Aiko, and that's when we're over. They brought some
And
of
they
the
did a
basic.
terrible job with Yu Hakusho.
Yes, but the budgeting. Now, when the series came out and everything, when Toonami came out, it was already a thing. They already knew that they were going to make a profit, and they had this huge budgeting to it. But you have to thank the fact that U.S. Manga Corps brought, Yu Yu Hakusho, the movie, over because of that.
We will give them the fact that it's over.
Yes.
I will forever be salty that my character was not treated right.
No character was treated right in that movie, to be fair.
In the movie or the last season.
But that's not U.S. Manga Corps' problem.
That's not their problem. That's not their fault.
They had to get
Also,
cheap translation and cheap voice actors.
their voice actors were pretty well casted. I'll give them that. In their defense, there is something worse. There was a 30-minute OVA that was promoted over here in the U.S. as Yu Yu Hakusho the movie, even though it wasn't. It was only 30 minutes long. It was done by Anime Works, and it is the most god-awful thing. I've only seen it twice in my life, and the second time I wish I were drunk.
That's not what you showed me.
What?
That's not what you showed me.
That's not what I showed you.
Okay.
That was in a double disc set
Yeah.
of two very poorly done.
Yes.
30-minute
Yes,
different
it was.
things.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
That's one that I will also lend to Stephan.
Why would you hurt me?
Because I've seen it twice, you need to see it once.
How much is this gonna hurt?
How many brain cells do you have
Depends on how
left?
drunk you are.
Hold on. Okay, Candace, what you just said was, I'm gonna shoot myself in the butt twice. You know what? You deserve a bullet in your butt now.
That's exactly
That's
what
exactly what you just said.
Get drunk. I was not allowed to drink back then. You can drink now. You have an advantage.
No, when she says drunk, she means like at least half a bottle of vodka.
So, this is not going to end well.
So what I showed you was the new OVAs, which came out last October, which were fantastically done.
Yes.
Yes. That one included the story Two Shot, which was one of his like little bonus mangas that never got published in Shonen Jump, and that's about how he and Kurama met back when Kurama was a little junior high student. And then the other one was actually the second to last chapter of Yu Yu Hakusho that was never made into the anime. And those were both done so well, and I think hands down my favorite moment is when they're like trying to like Ocean's 11 their plan, and Kurama's like, all right, we gotta go beat up the guards, get into this room, replace the cameras, and change into their outfits in 60 seconds. And it shows the entire sequence in real time. And it's brilliant.
I need to rewatch this. I really, really do.
It's
Because
so
like little
good.
parts, it's been just long enough where my brain is starting to forget things.
It's so good. It's definitely worth the watch. Now that I'm seeing like all the casting for Furuba come out, I'm just sitting there waiting for John Bergmeier's name to come up, because then I can be like, dub the OVA! You got the cast! Dub the OVA!
Been confirmed.
Because right now, Justin Cook is back, Chris Sabat never left, and Chuck Huber never left. The only person we're missing is John Bergmeier.
So what you're saying is we need to campaign for this.
Yes!
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yes.
Chance.
Even if they could just get somebody close, I would be happy with it, because...
I've got my character. I don't really care,
Yeah.
so...
I mean, this is my character, and I would even be happy with just somebody that was willing to be close. If it just got dubbed by Funimation, I'd be so happy. I actually do prefer Kurama's Japanese voice, because...
Okay, I will say this. That, honestly, thinking back to a lot of those shows, now going back and just re-watching most of the Raws,
Mhm.
I actually only really like Yu Yu Hakusho for its Raw. I cannot stand Rurouni Kenshin, and it's actual Japanese
Oh,
voice cast.
absolutely. Yeah.
I really, really do not like Dragon Ball, any of Dragon Ball's Japanese voice cast.
Yeah.
Okay. And, well, Gundam Wing actually had a pretty semi-decent one. There were a couple that were actually pretty good.
Have you tried watching Cowboy Bebop in Japanese?
No.
It's weird. I can't watch it in Japanese. I really
I don't
can't.
know, because Spike Spiegel's like actual cadence, but spoken in the Japanese accent would probably throw me off.
Yeah. So I do have a bias though with Chrome's Japanese voice because she also sings the OP in 3 of the 5 EDs. And I love her. She's also in a few other anime that I watched, and she always voices guys, and she's just fantastic. She's such a talented person. So.
I have homework. I'm looking forward to homework.
But she did such a good job as Kurama. Like, I was always bothered by, like, how he refers to his mom as mother in English. Like, nobody talks like that. Like, really, nobody talks like that. You don't say mother unless it's sarcastic. Like...
I call my mother mother.
Really?
I do.
It just sounds so weird whenever I hear it.
I'll admit it is kind of weird because I switch between mother and ma, but...
At least you switch. Like, Kurama always says mother in every situation, and I'm like, it doesn't sound natural, it sounds forced.
Yeah, and then there's so many times where it's like, other than, like, when I'm talking to you guys, I'll say, like, oh, yeah, it's my mom. But when I'm actually around here, like, mother, is there something? And Tiff, yeah, it happens sometimes, you know, so it's something where some people do it, but it's always going to sound weird.
Yeah, it's just sounded more natural in the Japanese because it's like Okasan, and it just makes sense. Because, like, that's just how teenagers talk. Like, it just makes more sense to me. And I'm not judging anybody who does call their mom mother, but anytime I would do it, it would always be sarcastic. If I called my mom mother, she'd slap me.
Thanks a lot, mother.
Like, one time she called me when I was in California, and she's like, let me talk to your sister. I'm like, mother dearest is on the phone, and she was like, I swear to God, she slapped me from 2 states away.
It's possible.
My dad is just like, she's gonna murder you when you get back to Utah. I'm like, probably. Worth it.
Right. Okay, now sitting here thinking of the series, if you could finally go and get all the voice cast back, what type of story would you want them to tell? Because that's the biggest thing where it's like, okay, they've like, whose backstory, who do we need to actually go into now?
Not necessarily backstory,
or just what story?
I really would love Chris Sabat to really go over Kuwabara's story in the last arc.
There's no reason to go over this story. Okay, I think it's gonna let a lot of people down. Truly, honestly, he's not. I love him to death. He's not a horribly complex character. All right, it's one of those where there's certain people where it's like, why look further back into their past? You got enough of the groundwork of he's making changes in his life. He's trying constantly to put himself forward, and he cares more about friends and family than he's incredibly loyal. Mm-hmm. Don't go into his past.
Well, that's why I said I don't need Kuwabara's past. I want the story that we were denied.
Okay.
And I think that's because, like, to me, Kurama's story was always there from the beginning. Like, we got a lot of his story, like, you know, drip-fed to us throughout the entire series. And he probably is the most developed of the 4, other than Yusuke. And then his story was treated with so much love and care in that last arc that I just wouldn't change a thing. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like we were robbed of, you know, a 4th character. And he's the one who needed it the most.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say that Kuwabara's story is more just the evolution of his journey currently, rather than...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said I don't care about his backstory. Okay. I care about the story we were denied, and that is him going through high school and what he plans to do in the future, and even his relationship with Yukina, which has developed, and we didn't get to see.
Okay, all right.
We were absolutely denied a proper Kuwabara arc.
Now, how would you want to see him develop? Because it's like, okay, he is, you see him calming down. He's taking a few things a little bit more serious, but he still understands his place on the team, where he's never going to be the heavy hitter.
Yeah.
He's always going to be an assist character. So it's like, how do you make a progressive story, a centralized progressive story, about an assist character?
That actually is a hard question because I feel like it would end up feeling more like a slice of life
Uh-huh.
than a genuine Yu Yu Hakusho arc.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, there would be so much that you'd sit there like, we're waiting for things to happen, and then when things finally do happen, it's like, we're focusing on the wrong person for this and whatnot. So it's like, nah. That's why I've always thought of like, if I got it, I would want it just being nothing but like, no, we're just taking a step outside of everything. We're gonna make you laugh, we're gonna make you cry a little bit, but we're not going to show you action.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, if we wanted an action arc, I would say I want to see Genkai's backstory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could just do another tournament arc.
Well, not even that. Like, even if we just got an OVA series about like her life developing as a psychic.
I like it.
Yeah.
That'd be
like it.
cool.
Because her and
I'd be
Tagoro
down
were
with
probably
it.
one of my favorite character dynamics, honestly. And I love Genkai.
Yeah. I'm about that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So Funimation, get on this idea. This is why I said it. There we go. Okay, well, I mean, we're kind of wrapping towards time. Any closing thoughts? We did well. We did
We
not.
did do well.
We did not scream.
I did not have to
and
break you two
yell.
up.
I'm telling you guys right now, you know, like let's see. This is always kind of been like in the murmurings of the works, but I think what actually solidified it was a drive home for the two of us where got heated.
Yeah, oh, it absolutely did. And that's the thing I didn't want, because to me, Yu Yu Hakusho is so important. I did not want this to turn into like a bicker fest.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love the banter between the two of us, and as much as I love being a cold-hearted, sarcastic bitch, I just wanted this episode to be about why we love Yu Yu Hakusho and why other people should love Yu Yu Hakusho, because it is my favorite series, and I could never hate anything about it except Shura.
That's the trash you rag on. Okay. There you go. I'm not mad at that one. So yes, like I said, as long as you leave my gentle, souled, caring, loyal idiot alone, I will absolutely stay civil.
And I think it's hard for me to be critical about this series too. And I would love to do more episodes about Yu Yu Hakusho, breaking down each of the arcs, especially the Dark Tournament and Chapter Black, because I love them both so much.
We're going to do a Let's Watch series.
Yes.
We need to do this.
Let's plan an episode per those two arcs at least. Like, I don't know if we need a full episode for the first or last arc, but if we could just do a Dark Tournament episode, please.
We're doing it. No, this is not. I'm not. So,
It's a thing. It's now being planned. It's in the works.
Yes. So, especially let us know what you guys want us to talk about if we do come back to the subject, because Yu Yu Hakusho is never going to be a subject I turn down, ever. So.
Are you okay?
I can't tell what Brandon just did right there.
Tyler, do you have any final thoughts, because you are the one learning?
I have thoughts.
You thought.
My head is emptier than Kuwabara's.
You thought I was going to be the one to piss you off.
I know.
Sorry, Kuwahara's.
I'm trying so hard right now. Don't do this to me. God, you guys. There we go. Well, yeah, like I said, I like how we did this one. This is something we need to definitely do again.
Yeah,
I like that too.
absolutely. I always, like, you even mentioned that, like, you wondered if you should step out just in case we started fighting, but I'm like, honestly, I couldn't do this episode without you, because I'm like, I don't know very many people that want to talk about Yu Yu Hakusho as much as I do.
Well, I mean, we're going to be having our chances in the future.
Yeah.
I will say that much right now.
Talk to me about Yu Yu Hakusho, Stephan, because I want to talk about it.
Yes.
This has been such a good trip down memory lane, just binge watching it. You need to get your binge on.
Stop. No, I can't say stop for you guys.
Just push more over to him.
And then Tyler needs to finish his binge so he knows the horror that is watching Shura fight. So,
Yes.
hate this child with me, please.
I will probably hate him with the passion of 1,000 burning suns.
Good. That's all I ask.
The sun is a myth.
That's
There we go. Well, like I said, so if you guys are still watching, stick around. We're probably gonna go and get some other things working. Why? So yeah, we'll be right back. So the stream will close down for a little bit, but then we'll be right back at you guys. So
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
just
Brandon.
why?
You might want to get that checked.